Chào mừng quý vị và các bạn đã cùng đến với chương trình Việt Nam trong tim tôi. Ngày hôm nay thì Nguyên Khang xin mời quý vị và các bạn chúng ta sẽ cùng gặp gỡ một nghệ sĩ tự do người Ý, anh Davide Dominici. Và để tìm hiểu về bộ phim tài liệu The Southeast Asian Portraits, chân dung Đông Nam Á mà anh đang thực hiện tại Việt Nam nhé.
Cuộc đời tôi là vẽ là ý nghĩa như vậy đó. Không muốn kinh doanh, tôi muốn làm cho mọi người được hiểu được tôi, việc tôi bằng.
So before you come here, you have any impressions of thinking about our country before?
Honestly, no. I knew Southeast Asia because I had been in Thailand and Laos and Cambodia, but it was my very first time I came to Vietnam. And and I must say I love it.
But how about the comparison between the lifestyle here with the comparison is your country, Italy?
Oh wow, very different. I find that there are in being very different, there are also many similarities. Italian people, like Vietnamese, they're very much about family culture. They're very generous, and hospitality is very important to welcome people and make them feel home. We have the very same in Italy, so I felt a strong bond in that sense. The food, again, is very different, but very delicious in very different ways in my country and in your country. And the culture, maybe this is also something I have appreciate here in Vietnam. There is culture, like there is a tradition, there is a feeling that something from the past is in the present and it will be in the future, which is also part of my culture. So.
As I read on one of the articles that you said that the Vietnamese live outside, that live on the street, than in our house.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't understand clearly. Can you explain
That's
me
right,
why?
that's right. You're totally right. Yeah, this is something that drives me crazy here. I love it. Well, everybody, it feels like that there is no private. There is no privacy, that everything is shared in a way in the public, whether back in Europe and in my country especially, sort of everything happens behind closed doors. So, and that still after a year and a half, still sometimes I'm so surprised by what I can see, what I can experience indirectly. People sleeping on their bikes, the more silly things from, I think it's just wonderful.
Is there any special reasons that you want to stay here, want to live here in Vietnam and to work here?
Yeah, well, at the moment, I think I know I'm doing this project about these portraits. I'm shooting this documentary, so I don't know, it feels natural. Ho Chi Minh feels like home to me in a way, so very much. So even though it's a big city and sometimes it does get tired and it's good to get out of the city, but it has a very good energy. People are moving, are always working, are always doing something, so it gives me also energy to keep going. And
what do you learn from the lifestyle here?
Well, like I said, I enjoy greatly spending time outside and watching people just live their life.
What do you mean in another article that I've read before, that in Vietnam people talk less, do more?
I come from a country, I find that Italians, they talk a lot.
Really?
Yeah, it's just part of our culture. We discuss, we're very loud, we scream at each other, we swear. But here, people seem to me, at least my perception, is that they're much more quiet, they observe, they're a bit more close, they don't necessarily tell you everything directly. Yeah, that's something I like very much. I find it very different in terms of culture. Just like the same of people doing everything outside. And so, and you experience to see it. That's why a lot of, something that we don't really do in Italy, especially in the north where I'm from, where it's rather cold, where people will sit outside and just observe. This is something we don't really do in Italy, whether here, and I find it's great. It's great to look at others to better understand yourself, in a way, like to see what other people do and how other people behave.
So staying here for a long time, besides documentary film, what else did you do also?
I have quite a routine of my day. So where I swim every day, I like to spend a few hours reading or drawing. That's another big passion.
What do you draw?
Well, drawing or figurative art in general, for me is it's just a place where I can feel free to let go of everything. And I'm using this one technique where I draw everything on one single line, because I don't want in my drawing, in this thing that I do, to have any thinking to tell me, oh, now I'm gonna draw a house here and then I'm gonna draw a human being. I try more to let, I don't know, a plant to evoke me something, and then let my subconscious, so to speak, or my creativity, my imagination to surface, rather than force it out of me. So over the weekend, I either travel somewhere or I try and go to orphanage. I like to go and play with kids. I love kids. But after I do the drawing, I usually go to the orphanage and I let them color. I bring some pencil. My last theme has been the Chinese zodiac. I like to cook.
Yeah. Oh, really? You can cook?
Yeah.
Italian or Vietnamese?
Italian, yeah, I know. Not Vietnamese yet. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But at the moment, yeah, no, it's still Italian food.
Before you come to Vietnam, what did you do in Italy?
I lived for 7 years before coming here in the Czech Republic, which is in the north of Europe. My work with in front of the camera, because I did a lot of advertising as a testimonial, and I did some movies as an actor. Somehow an opportunity took me to Prague, the Czech Republic, where they have these big studios called Barrandov. And I ended up living there for nearly 7 years. So, yeah, that's what I was doing there. I was mostly in front of the camera instead of being behind the camera. But while living there, that gave me the opportunity to do my own independent project, to do some short films that were later screened at festivals and all of that. And I kept cultivating that passion. And then when the opportunity to come to Vietnam came, I took it.
'Cause you're hot and you're cold, you're yes then you're no, you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down, you're wrong when it's right, it's black and it's white, we fight, we break up, we kiss, we make that. You're hot and you're cold, you're yes then you're no, you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down, you're wrong when it's right.
And then, since then, I have been involved in this project of these short documentaries, these portraits that I've been doing for the last year and a half.
So what do you want to do, the documentary films about the Southeast Asia portrait?
Yeah, one thing that really captured my attention, that really fascinates me, are people. For me, in a way, if I can compare, I would say that the beauty and complexity of European old monuments translate for me here in Asia with real individual. Like sometimes you just meet these people that have a story about themselves, that have struggled in a way that you cannot find back in Europe. And I don't know, this just pushed me, make me desire to film this story, to try and capture the essence of their life and keep a record of it, so that for me and for, I hope for other people in the future as well, there will be something to look at and maybe learn a little something.
But any companies or any organizations that support or sponsor for your documentary film?
Up until now, no. Not that I have been really looking for it. I think that this privilege of being independent and being able to choose my story and shoot exactly how I want them didn't really push me so much to look for a sponsor or a so-called producer. But I believe that sooner or later it will happen, that somebody will look into it and be interested and will want to buy or show them on TV. At the moment they're on the internet, everybody can see them, yeah, for free. They're there to share.
I see that the job as an actor in front of a camera is different from behind the camera. So since when you have the hobby, the desire to make the documentary film?
It starts from a way back. So storytelling has always been my passion since I was a teenager, meaning the desire to tell stories. Well, it first started with writing. Like I first started with writing. I studied languages and literature in university. So being in front of the camera, it happened because I'm Italian. And I was born and raised in Milan, which is a fashion city. And so I was introduced to fashion. I started as a model. The model turned me into a commercial actor. And that, with some luck and skills, brought me to cinema. And so it just evolved. Everything evolved very organically. And so the passion for storytelling that I had from when I was young translated into going from in front of the camera to behind the camera somehow. That's how it happened.
Yeah. Davide is very happy today to listen to your story. And before we finish the program today, do you want to say anything to the audience?
Việt Nam trong tim tôi.
Thưa quý vị, Việt Nam trong tim tôi là những gì mà Davide muốn nói đến quý vị. Và hãy tiếp tục theo dõi số lần sau để biết về công việc của Davide tại Việt Nam. Còn bây giờ, chương trình xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.